Flawed, misguided, on point. It's a matter of perspective and predicated directly on how the bids of Ireland, France and South Africa fared in a technical review group's report, released by World Rugby, in recommending a preferred host nation for the 2023 Rugby World Cup. The report has been released ahead of the voting process in London on Wednesday, November 15. South Africa has called on the unions and federations to honor the overall findings of the report and award it the tournament. France admitted to being surprised by some of the conclusions, while Ireland, the initial bookmakers' favorites, was hugely disappointed, and will appeal to voting countries to ignore bottom-line mathematics in favor of a more holistic approach. There were 5 main criteria under which the bids were appraised: vision and hosting concept, organization and schedule, venues and host cities, tournament infrastructure, and finance, commercial and commitments. South Africa finished top in 3, France in 2. Beneath that there were 21 subcategories or detailed areas of evaluation, to use the report's terminology. For the purposes of the graphic, this column breaks down the scores awarded. The bids were marked on a 0 to 4 point scale, including half points under 4 different headings: the best, or in certain cases joint best score; the second best, a category called level, in which all 3 bids received identical marks; and finally worst, where a country received the outright lowest marks. What's immediately obvious from an Irish perspective is that despite finishing 3rd in the overall review, Ireland actually edged France in the number of times, 6 occasions, that it was adjudged to be best or joint best under a particular subheading, as opposed to France's 5. Both countries were some way behind South Africa at 10. The South African bid scored heavily in 2 categories: infrastructure and venues and host cities, receiving best or joint best marks on 4 occasions in each. Coincidentally, these were the categories in which Ireland picked up 4 of the 7 times they were awarded the outright lowest mark, 2 in each. In looking for an analogy in relation to the Irish stadium's guarantees, there is no doubt that World Rugby believed that Ireland had its homework done. It's just that it hadn't brought it to class. Unlike the other 2 pupils, the stadiums will be ready in time. But in a case of the theoretical and the tangible, it was heavily weighted in favor of the latter. What will rankle slightly with the Irish Oversight Bid Board as a self-inflicted wound is that, under one of the 6 subheadings, security, Ireland, France and South Africa all received the same mark of 2.5. Yet the Irish submission bore the critical notation that the bid description of risks is limited and does not cover the full range of risks associated with the safety and security of the tournament, and therefore does not attract additional marks in the scoring. In essence, it was an area in which Ireland should, at face value, have outscored its rivals. There was only one category in which South Africa failed to pick up top marks. Indeed, it finished bottom overall for the only time, and it was in vision and hosting concept. The Irish bid was judged to have the most exciting and innovative concept for World Rugby 2023 that has clear and tangible objectives that align with World Rugby's strategic goals. The Irish bid received the lowest mark on 7 occasions, and one of those directly related to the tournament fee. It offered $120 million and was awarded 2.5. France, $150 million, was given 3. And South Africa, $160 million, got top marks of 4. Given that it was weighted at 35% of the total in that category, it was far from inconsequential. World Rugby derives 90% of its income from World Cups. Money spoke. Ireland did manage to claw back parity with South Africa by getting a top mark for commercial revenue, including sponsorship and advertising. But France was the market leader overall in this category. South Africa picked up 2 of its 3 outright lowest marks in the financial and commercial section. offering the largest tournament fee of $160 million offset a weaker commercial revenue return. Ireland's appeal will be to focus on what it perceives as flaws in the report, and it will appeal emotionally to voters. If there's no outright winner after the first round of voting, then the country with the lowest tally is eliminated. Ireland's best chance will be to somehow find a way into a head-to-head